Hello, dear fans, friends, and subscribers of Cricket Happenings. Welcome to all. And today we had a match between Australia and Sri Lanka. And as you know, both teams were yet to get off the mark in the World Cup. And it was a matter of who is the one who is going to go and get the first points in the World Cup. And yes, it was Australia. But I have something to say here. I thought Sri Lanka definitely didn't do well because after batting first and getting to a great start of 125 for no loss, with Pathum Nissanka and Kushal Perera in total control. Australia was just hunting to get their first wicket, and to collapse from that to 209 all out was something. Yes, they were crippled. There's no doubt about it. Dasun Shanaka, the Sri Lankan captain, is out with the injury, which is very bad news for Sri Lanka. And besides, for Sri Lanka, the pressure is just building after they lost to Australia. And after 209, it was never a par score at the Ekana Stadium in Lucknow, because the par score would have been probably 300. And, if that partnership would have, I mean, if the Sri Lanka had actually, they have only themselves to blame. And if Sri Lanka had actually played some percentage cricket and really kept their wickets intact, I would have not been surprised if Sri Lanka, with their batting might, would have got to a score of 350 runs, which unfortunately didn't happen. And Australia were the ones who got off the mark first in the World Cup, and they won the match by 5 wickets. Adam Zampa, the spinner, turning in a brilliant performance. He has been under the cosh a bit. I'm told he's having a problem with his back as well. But nevertheless, today he really, really, as I said, Sri Lanka were totally in a commanding position, 125 for no loss in 21.4 overs, and to be all out for 209 in 43.3 overs. Yes, Adam Zampa was the man who was responsible to cause the dramatic collapse of the Sri Lankans, with bowling figures of 4 for 47 of his full quota of 10 overs. Looking at the Sri Lankan card, Kushal Pereira, he's someone who's a very, very dangerous player at the top of the order, and especially in the power play. You have to bowl good lines to Kushal Pereira, otherwise he will hurt you. And that's what precisely happened. Kushal Pereira went on to slam 78 runs of 82 deliveries, with 12 fours included in that. And at the same time, Pathum Nissanka got to his second consecutive 50 in the World Cup, 61 of 67 deliveries, 8 fours. And, both were stroking the ball very fluently on either side of the wicket, and were not really looking in any doubt at all. But yes, there were a few decisions. Some, I would say, some hard catches were grasped by Australia, but hard ones one could call. And also, another thing that was noticed is that probably Australia could have, probably even Glenn Maxwell was bowling, and there was a huge appeal. And probably the initial reviews that Australia took, it really didn't work their way. It came against them. And this particular one, they should have probably reviewed, because the ball tracking showed that the ball might have hit the stumps. And Glenn Maxwell was totally confident about it. He was totally, it was a vociferous appeal, one could call. But one would have thought that they would have got support from the Aussie colleagues. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, and it resulted in a review not being done. And later on, it was seen that the ball tracking showed that the ball would have hit the stumps. So definitely, that was a costly miss. But well, Australia have nothing to regret now, because they already won the match. And for Sri Lanka, well, they are really, really searching for their first points in the World Cup. And looking at that card does not make any happy reading. Once you go past Pathum Nissanka and Kushal Pereira, as I said, 78 and 61 respectively, and Only Charita Salanka in the middle contributed 25 of 39 with one boundary, and all that he could do is he was watching a procession in front of his eyes. Wickets kept on falling, and you can see that Charita Salanka was the last man out, making 25. What can he do? I mean, he just didn't have any chances because the wickets kept on tumbling. And Kushal Mendes, he was out for nine. Zampa, as I said, he was bowling well. And Glenn Maxwell, he has made it a real habit. And he's, I've already been saying this, that Glenn Maxwell has really, really contributed in a big manner. Where Adam Zampa has been a bit weak, but yes, he has got into a real good, I would say, real good shape right now. But Glenn Maxwell, well, he has been doing a commendable job. Look at his bowling performance. Glenn Maxwell, 9.3 overs, no maiden, 1 for 36. The other day, he bowled 10 overs for 33. So, as far as Glenn Maxwell is concerned, he is doing that job. You can't consider him a part time bowler. He's doing the full time job, and he's delivering the goods. So, as far as Glenn Maxwell is concerned, absolutely no questions about it. He's doing a marvelous job in India. And probably, another advantage for Glenn Maxwell is having played a lot of cricket in the IPL in India. He basically understands the wickets. He basically understands the wickets as well, as to how things are panning out. And I'm very happy to see Glenn Maxwell doing a commendable job for Australia. And as I said, there was no support whatsoever. Dhananjay De Silva lost his stumps to Stark for 7. Well, Elegate 2. Ratna, who came into the team, which was good to see, but only contributed 2. Tikshana not. Lairu Kumara 4. And Dilshan Madhushanka out for not out on not. Bowling figures were 2 for 43 for Mitchell Stark. None for 36 for Hazelwood. Didn't look the real Hazelwood that we know. 7 overs, 2 for 32. Pat Cummins, the captain, and Stoinis 2 overs, none 11. So let's have a look at the Australian card now. And as I said, a collapse, a dramatic collapse. And as I said, only Sri Lankans, they can only have only themselves to blame for the morass that they were in from collapsing from 125 to 209 all out. Let's have a look at the Australian card here. And for Australia, yes, the start was not good. Dilshan Madhushanka was simply superb. I mean, this left-arm bowler who gets the ball to move away and move in was totally on the money. And he snapped up some big wickets. In fact, he bowled his first over, which was a maiden, then came back to bowl the next over, which was again a maiden, but it was a double wicket maiden, and getting two big fishes in that. First, he got hold of David Warner. David Warner was not happy with the decision. He was given LBW by the umpire Joel immediately, and David Warner immediately went for the review, and out came the verdict from the third umpire that David Warner was out, and he could not believe it. He was absolutely angry with the decision. He had a look at the Sri Lankan players and started walking. So David Warner was LBW by Madhushanka for 11, and Madhushanka, well, what a wonderful bowler is. I mean, he did a marvelous job. And then another big fish fell in the same over, and this was on the last delivery of Madhushanka. Madhushanka produced another absolute beauty of a delivery. The ball snaked in, and the big player Stephen Smith was trapped plumb in front of the middle and leg stump, and that was something which really would have sent some shockwaves in the Australian camp, because two big fishes were gone in the same over, David Warner and Stephen Smith. And then it was left to Mitchell Marsh. And another thing that I would like to talk about, Madhushanka, yes, he was bowling his heart out, defending 209. He was doing a marvelous job. But let's have a look at this bowler, Lairu Kumara, who is mainly the prime strike bowler, and he was actually spraying the ball all over the place. He was getting blasted by the Australian batsman, and Mitchell Marsh was taking to him. And look at the bowling figures: 4 overs, none for 47. Besides his fielding, he was an absolute liability on the field, with some sloppy fielding. There was no commitment on the field, and I'm afraid to say that. And he was a totally a no contributor in this lineup. I mean, Lairu Kumara is the prime strike bowler, and if at all you need pace, he's the one. But I thought he totally did not really do any justice to his role as a pace bowler for Sri Lanka. And that contributed as well. And Mitchell Marsh, well, he got along and he got a good partner in, and Manus Labuschagne. As you know, Manus Labuschagne, I have been a very big advocate of Manus Labuschagne being in the Australian team. As I said if you would have looked at my preview as well before the World Cup started, I very well mentioned, and also I did it on probably on Facebook, on Twitter. I really posted some messages saying that Manus Labuschagne is the best thing to happen for Australia, for the simple reason he was not a part of the World Cup squad, and to bring him in, I think that was a great move. Look what he's doing. He is the one in this Australian team who's showing this consistent performance. And as I said, you need that glue. You need someone to stand there, stick it out. And I said that this is the man, Manus Labuschagne, who would do the needful. And well, he has been doing his job. I mean, he got into a very good partnership, and that was the one which took Australia out of a not a very tough situation, but definitely a bit of a bother, one could call, when the two wickets fell in 12 in the space of just 4 to 5 balls, and they were 24 for 2. But after that, Mitchell Marsh, and with his nice stroking, and with his heavy stroking, he went along merrily for 52 or 51, 9 fours, with the partnership taking it to 85. But Mitchell Marsh getting run out was not good news. He was run out by Karnaratne, and with a Mendes combination. So that was gone. And after that, Manus Labuschagne got another partner in, which was Josh Inglis. And Josh Inglis, well, as you know, he's a very aggressive player, and he showed it right there at the center today by dealing with the Sri Lankan bowlers, whether it be pace and spin, and he contributed in a wonderful manner. But the other end, Manus Labuschagne, he was the one who was actually holding the Aussie innings. He did his job, but then Madhushanka once again came back in his second spell and got rid of Manus Labuschagne for 40. But again, there was nothing there. It's just a matter of a formality as far as the pitch is concerned. And Glenn Maxwell came in and meant business right away, right from the first ball, as he started cracking fours and sixes. He clubbed 31 of 21 deliveries, which included 4 fours and 2 sixes. It was raw power combined with timing, and a lot of good movement at the crease to hit those bowlers, to put them off target. And Josh Inglis, as I said, played a wonderful knock of 58 or 59, becoming a victim of the left-arm spinner Dunit Velalage. And then Manus Stoinis came in, cracked an unbeaten 20 of 10, and the game was all over. 2 4s and 1 6, because Australia had to really up the ante, because, as you know, they are, if you look at it, the run rate might come into question, and Australia did that. They decided, but again, if you look at the standings, Australia, yes, they have just won their first match, and I think they have done something good here by getting to the mark in 32.5 overs, I reckon, which was good stuff in the end. 35.2 overs and 215, and they won the match. And bowling, Lairo Kumara, as I told you, was pasted by the Aussie batsmen to all corners of the field, none for 47. Madhushanka, absolutely the pick of the bowlers. 9 overs, 2 maidens, 38 runs and 3 wickets. Bowled with lot of intelligence, and he bowled a very probing line to the Aussie batsman. Mahesh Theekshana, 7 overs, none for 49. Now that is something I would have expected Mahesh Theekshana to do a much better job than what he did, probably. But that was not good going for Mahesh Theekshana. Dunit Velalage, 9.2 overs and 1 for 53. Chamika Karnatare, 3 overs for 15. and Dhananjay De Silva 3 overs for 12 runs. Well, dear fans and subscribers, it's Australia finally got off the mark in the World Cup, so that would be a happy feeling. And tomorrow's match that is coming up is Sri Lanka, sorry, South Africa, red hot South Africa, I will call, are facing Netherlands. And Netherlands, as Netherlands are yes, they are a very good team, no doubt about it. But South Africa are red hot right now, so Netherlands probably have to face the wrath of the South African batting tomorrow. But well, time will tell. Well, dear fans and crabbers, absolute pleasure bringing you this cricket show as I do daily for this World Cup, and look forward to your company once again tomorrow on the cricket show. Till such time that happens, this is your host Ram bidding goodbye.